Okay. So the year was 2006. I was working second shift at a customer service job where I help people with their credit card terminals. I was young, moved back to town after living away from Louisville for a while, and this was my first real job since I've been back home. I was having fun and going out with friends and getting to know the city again, so I was enjoying that chapter of my life. I usually got off around midnight, and this particular night was a rough one because I had to work overtime, so I didn't get off till about 1. And after I got off, my friends called me up. They're just like, "Hey, Teddy, come on, man. Let's go out. Let's have a good time." And I'm like, "Man, I'm tired. I don't really want to." But eventually, they convinced me to do it. So I'm like, "All right, cool." We go out. I finally meet up with them, and I drove by myself that night. And after I met up with them, we were kind of hanging out, having a drink, and I saw my old buddy, Michael Pinkert, and he and I were talking for a while, and it was good to see him because I hadn't seen him in a little while. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw this shorter woman walk up to me, and I didn't think twice about it because, I don't know. I just figured she was who knows why she was walking up, but I'm like, okay, whatever. And when she gets closer, she's just like, "Teddy?" And I look, and I didn't recognize her at first. And then I said, "Oh, Jasmine, what's up?" And there was a lot in that "what's up" because I looked, and in that 1 or 2 seconds, I recognized her as my old friend from middle school, who I kind of kept in touch throughout the years, but we hadn't spoken forever. And this was grown woman Jazz. Like, she was looking good. She was looking good. So I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? What have you been doing now?" And she told me her brother just got married that night, and she and her friends were in town, or her friend was in town, so she was celebrating with them. And I'm like, "Well, cool." And in my mind, usually I can keep a conversation going, no problem. But for some reason, the voice said, "Don't mess this up. Just go." So I'm like, "Hey, look, well, whenever you get a chance, let's get up and, talk and catch up." So I got her number, and I basically ran away. I didn't get it, but at the time I was just like, I don't want to say anything, do anything, whatever. So I got her number and ran away. And the night went on. I didn't see her again, but after the night was done, I was telling my buddy, I'm like, "Man, like, you'll never guess who I saw. She was looking good. Like, she was looking really good, dude." So, some time went on. She and I spoke on the phone for a little bit. And in her mind, she's let me know since then, in her mind, it was just her catching up with an old friend. Like, she didn't look at me and was just like, "Ooh, Teddy." No, nah. It wasn't that. I had to work for this, right? So we were getting to know each other again. And finally, I'm just like, "Well, what are you doing on such and such day?" I work second shift, but I got some time in the day. Let's just catch up. She's like, "Cool, I'm free. Just come by the house, pick me up." I'm like, "Cool." So I pick her up, I meet her dad, and I did a double take when I met her dad because I'd never met him before, and she looks like him. I'm like, "Whoa, just wasn't prepared for that. How you doing?" "Nice to meet you." And I spoke to her parents for a second, and then when we left, I opened the door for her to get in on the passenger side. And she didn't give me a look. She didn't think twice about it. She played it off well. But she's like, at that point, it started to click that it just wasn't me hanging out with her. Like, maybe this is a date or whatnot. So I say all that to say, man, it was different. And I didn't know why at that time. But looking back, here we are. We just celebrated our 7th year of a wedding anniversary. I get that even though you don't realize it at the time, there's always some little signs that can kind of help you decide, like, oh, okay, she might be different. She might be it for me. So, man, this is the intro. This is the first try for us to do something a little different. And that little different is focus on some of the great things about being a husband. And I'm lucky that I'm surrounded by so many men that are husbands and are married and doing a great job with their family. So I just wanted to take some time. If you guys enjoy this will be a segment that we keep going, but just take a listen to their story, and say if you agree with something they say, disagree, if you love it, whatever. We would love to hear from you. So hit us up at the Why Not Podcast at gmail.com. All right.
This is how I met my wife. It was the year 2007. We were at Jim Porter's. Me and one of my good buddies. We was out celebrating. And we just got done taking, where you take the little pictures in the corner where they got all the flashy artwork. It's not really the best artwork if you think about it. But anyway, I guess when you partying and you're in the mode, it's all good. But anyway, we just got done taking those pictures, we posting. And as we're walking through the crowd, it was packed that night too. I mean, it was one of those nights. It's a true story, man. This girl, she runs and just jumps on me and she hugs me. And I'm gonna be honest, man, she felt familiar. I thought I knew already. The people that she was with, I went to high school with. So I knew who she was with. So I figured, I probably know her. So, man, we danced for like 3 songs. Yeah. True story. And this is before I said, hey. You know what I'm saying? We just dancing. 3 songs. And then, I got a name and, I told her my real name. At that time I would give fake names for whatever reason. But I told her my real name. I got her number. We stayed in touch, and we used to kick it, man. We used to have a real good time, man. I'd pick up, we go get something to eat. We go to all these underground artist showcases and shows, and we just kick and have a good time. But at that time, I didn't really have a mature understanding of like love. You know what I'm saying? I still had trust issues from a previous relationship with my first son's mom. So I really, the settle down life really wasn't what I was shooting for. I still kind of wanted to be a free agent, just to be honest. But I'm gonna be honest, man. This woman, she loved me. Like, she just loved me. Like, I even asked her one time. I said, why do you love me? She was like, I just, I see good in you, and she stuck by me, regardless of the situation. I remember I hit a real tough time, and I was at 600 West Jefferson, over some foolishness that really, it's a long story, but I remember making a call home to my homie Pat. Shout out to Pat. And I was like, man, I'm in a bind right now, man. You know, you can go over to mama's house. You know, I need you to go grab some money for me over there so I can get out. He's like, I just got off the phone with your mama, man. She said everything's already taken care of. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll call you back. I call mama's house. Mama's like, yeah, Carrie, she already paid that. And I promise you not, I had like this flash, this clear vision, like time stopped for a moment. And I clearly saw that this was going to be the woman that I was going to be with. Like, this is it. The games is over. You know what I'm saying? I virtually took the jersey off that day and hung him up. Like, it's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm done playing, man. This woman really loves me. And I cared for her a lot, but I was in denial a lot because I had trust issues. But by me teaming up with my wife, it probably has been the best decision I ever made. You know what I'm saying? We got a beautiful family together. Our kids are pretty much our 99% entertainment throughout the week because, raising kids is a full-time job. And the new generation, man, they just so intelligent and so creative that you really never know what they're going to do or say next. It's truly unpredictable, but it's amazing at the same time. So, man, the Lord just been good to me, man. I'm blessed to have her, man. I'm glad that night she just happened to be there. You know, it was one of those divine moments, you know what I'm saying, where if she hadn't been there, I wouldn't have met her and I wouldn't be here right now talking to you good people. So, it's just funny how life works. But I strongly encourage marriage for those out there that are, interested in it, still living by that old destructive culture. Hey, y'all remember when we was little, when like settle down with a girl was like the worst thing to do? You old lovey. He's solid. He's trying to save. Look at him. But think about it though. How long are we just supposed to hang out with fellas all day, every day? You need to have a woman in your life, man. You know what I'm saying? They balance us. Because before I got married, I didn't really realize how many flaws I had. I had mastered the art of lying to myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wrong ever in my mind. And she would show me things and habits I had, kind of picked up along the way that really don't benefit my situation. So, she helps keep a sound mind, you know what I'm saying, in the household and vice versa. Because, you got to keep them, balanced as well because they have moments where the emotions seem to either, climax or tank, So we kind of serve as that neutral balance to help keep them on track, you know what I'm saying? And, it's a blessing, man. It really is. But that's really my story, man. Truth be told, man, the good Lord just blessed me, man. He sent a good woman my way. And, I feel like it's my task to try to make her world as bright as it can be while I'm here. Because, another thing I just want to touch on real quick is like time. Like, most people want to pull out the energy toward money and this. But, man, look, you got to value time because time is honestly one of those things that has never been promised to us. Like, there's never been a time where somebody said, man, you know what? You are promised to be here tomorrow. Ever. So when you with someone that's special to you, you want to monitor your time wisely. You want to make sure that, you being more productive with your time and in your relationship versus destructive.
I think beauty's overrated. Cause that's something anyone can be. Yeah. Attraction, now that's something different. And thankfully you're both to me. 'Cause I've learned in this life, yeah, you gotta be with someone you like. You think we've got, yeah, what it takes to go the distance. I can tell you now. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. through me. You let me be free. I'm woman. I'm woman. The only one I'll be. The only one you'll ever need. And you're the very same to me. 'Cause I've learned in this life, you gotta be with someone you like. And if you think we've got what it takes to go the distance, I can tell you now. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
What up? This is Murph, and this is my recollection of the first time when I met my baby. So it's kind of a backstory to it. So I had a friend that passed away in 2010 or 2011. Rest in peace to Courtney. So me and Courtney had a mutual friend named India. India, shout out. What's going on with you? What your homie? So when Courtney passed away, me and India, created a good friendship, a good bond. And the weekend of the funeral, we had like a kind of like an after set after the funeral. Like, everybody got together. We kind of just celebrated Courtney's life and, just chilled and, got in some libations and, just kind of chilled and kick it. So, me and I forgot who went with me, but me and one of my homeboys, we were like the last two people to actually get to the party. So I had saw this girl at the funeral that was like, gosh, she was beautiful. I had never seen her before. And everybody else around her and all the other people, I had knew them, but there was just this one girl that like, she may look familiar, but I have no idea who she is. So when we walk into the party that night, I see her in the corner standing. It was like, how you walk into a room and it just seemed like everything goes dark, but then that light just sets in on that one person. That's how it felt. So we come in, there was a bunch of girls in this setting, and then, there was only a few guys. So when we walk in, you could kind of feel the energy. Like I felt like I was like fresh to death that night. I was like, I'm it, so, you kind of going, you kind of feeling the energy from the other females. But there was this one girl that, she was infatuated with me and she was just like on me the whole night, but I could not stop thinking about that girl in the corner. So it was kind of like, I was hitting the chick with the Heisman, like, go on somewhere. Like, I don't even want you around. I don't even want to give this girl the stigma that me and you are together. I had to hit her with the stiff, like, come on now. So, a couple of days go by and I talked to India. I was like, man, who's your friend? Who's like the little light skinned chick? Like, who is that? And she's like, oh, that's my friend Lydia. Like, they were actually cool. They really weren't like good friends, but we all had mutual friends. Like Tony says, it's the village. So I'm like, I talked, about her a couple more weeks. So I seen her again over at India's house. And, no, actually, I seen her somewhere by herself, like from afar, and she always used to wear black leggings every time I seen her. So whenever I talked to India, I would be like, what's up with old girl in them leggings? What's up with old girl in them leggings? Like, where's leggings at? Like, where's she at? So, like about a month or two goes by, so India has a Halloween party. So mind you, before that, me and her had never had a conversation at all before. So I walk in. Again, I'm the last person at the party. I walk in. So again, I feel like I'm fresh to death because my costume I went is Money Making Mitch from Paid in Full. That's my favorite movie.
Ice, you had the gold rope.
Yeah, you remember that pic? Yeah, I had my gold ropes. I had my Adidas suit on with my Adidas with no laces.
You're not lying.
I felt like I was DMC, So again, I walk in. There's all these women around, all these females, but again, I see her from afar, and it's the same like lighting, like the same like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. So she has on this like elaborate like I didn't know what she was supposed to be until like maybe 2 years ago. I asked her like, what the hell were you supposed to be that night? And she was supposed to be a peacock. So she had on like this tutu with these tights and all these colorful, like she's real crafty. Her and her mom are like craftmatics. Like, so she put it, so I'm like, what the hell were you? So the party's going on, it's cool, the libations is cracking, we chilling. And so the party kind of ends, and at the end of the night, randomly she says, "Come here." So I'm like, oh. She's like, "Take a picture with me." So I'm like, okay. So I was like, like I'm just introducing myself, like, yeah, my name's Ronaldo. I gave her my real name, as my dog said, gave her my real name. Usually I, go through like 4 or 5 different names before, you can actually know me personally. So she takes a picture with me, and I still have that picture to this day. Like, that was our first picture we took together. So after the party, so we decide like, hey, let's all go to 4th Street. So we're, 4th Street every year, it's always cracking, with all the wild costumes and wild people, drunk and stuff at 4th Street. So we go down there, and I ended up meeting her sister, her sister's boyfriend, like everybody that's kind of in her life. I kind of met them that night. So it's kind of like crazy and symbolic of how it all kind of happened. So at the end of the night, I had drove by myself, and they were still, chilling in the club. But I was like, I kind of had a little something set up, after the club. So I was like, I'll get up with y'all, y'all cool. But, I was trying to like spoon, So I see, this perfectly random, I see her before the end of the night. So I say, hey, let me see your phone. Yeah. I take her phone. I put my number in. So by that time, I got liquid courage. Like, I'm on 10. So I was like, yeah, let me, I'm trying to be smooth. Yeah, let me see your phone. So I get her phone, put my number in. I push call, and I'm like showing her like, yeah, I just put my number in your phone. I'm calling my phone so I can have your number. Is that cool? Right. And she was like, damn, you are kind of like, like you the boss. Like, you just do what you want, huh? I was Money Mitch. Yeah, I was Money Mitch, Hey, I was Money Mitch at night, baby. So, I take so I get the number. So, you know how you were like kind of like in high school, you get somebody's number, and it's like you want to call them like 20 seconds after getting that number, but you're kind of like, man, I want to be cool. I don't want to be seen too pressed. So I waited like 3 or 4 days, and I wanted to call her every day, but it was like, let me pump my brakes. So I called her, and she was like, why did it take you so long to call me? I was like, dang. I was like, man, my bad. I was like, I was trying to be the cool guy. I was trying to be like real cool with it and not pressure you into talking to me. So everything goes good. Like, we have a lot of things in common. We're different. We come from totally different worlds, but we have these common things that, that bring us together. So before that, we had never kicked it at all. So actually, maybe a week after that, I have a party at my house. Yeah. So I'm like, won't you come over and chill? So she comes over, and like, it was one of the wildest parties ever. So I couldn't really give her like my whole attention, but like there was points during the night where I would take her, where we would talk, and she was like, she was like, you were so drunk and high that night. She was like, it didn't make any sense. She was like, who is this guy? She was like, I didn't want to like you so much because you just had all these Negroes around your crib, and y'all was just going in and smoking and drinking and da-da-da. So I was like, she was like, it's surprising that I'm here with you now, because that night she was like, I don't like him. Like, and I was like, it was a party, it was a party. I was the host, that's what I was supposed to do. So, so she told me that like maybe a day or two after. I said, well, you know what? I said, I don't want that to be like my first impression of me, the first time that you kind of hang around me, not around everybody else that we know mutually. So I said, why don't you come up? So the conversation started. She was like, I said, what's your favorite movie? And she said, Love Jones. And I said, I got that on DVD over here. Like, why don't you come over? I said, do you like surf and turf? She was like, Yo, she said most people would be like, you want some tacos or do you want some spaghetti or something? But you said surf and turf. She said, I'm on my way. I said, I'm a pretty nice chef. I'll do my thing in the kitchen. So I cooked a good meat. I mean, I cooked loaded baked potatoes, steak, shrimp, broccoli, fresh broccoli.
Put in work.
Like fresh, fresh squeezed lemonade.
It was real.
That's how you know. So I put it out the spread. So she comes over, eats. We watch Love Jones, and like literally, like from that night on, I don't think that we never did like. There wasn't a day that we didn't talk or that we didn't see each other. Like after that particular night, I mean, ever since then, I mean, we've talked every day since that night. And the moment where I knew that she was the one for me was, I'm real, like, as far as like the way that my life has kind of went, like I'm really like, I have a crazy close relationship with my mom and my sisters. So, I knew that like I've never really brought a lot of women around my sisters and my mom. Yeah. Because first of all, like, I'm my mama's baby. Like, so nobody's gonna be able to compare to her baby, and nobody's gonna be able to carry our love like she would to her baby. But now she does know that. But so when I brought her around my mama and my sisters, they clicked like automatically. And I thought it was gonna be like, because she's so different than my sisters and my mom. But my girl, she's just real cool. Like she reminds me of myself sometimes, because she can like go into a room and like she's gonna be comfortable because she's gonna find something in common with somebody or talk and conversating, and this is gonna lead to that. So that moment, like I took her over we went over to eat like Sunday dinner, like for my mom and my sister. And mind you, I never really brought a lot of women around my mom. So when I told her I wanted to bring her, she was like, oh shit, like, yeah, like, okay, like, yeah, like, yeah. Like I want to see, I've heard about the thotties and the hoes that you mess with, but since you want to bring somebody for Sunday dinner, like I'm in. So she comes, and like, I thought it was going to be super awkward, but like, we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed, like the whole, like, and it felt like family. And like, I have these, it's weird. I have these like out of body experiences, like where I'm in the moment, and like, if I can switch into my mind and like jump out of my body and like look around at everything, the whole situation. I was just like, without smoking, without any medicinal at all. And it's just like, and I was just like, wow, I've never had this feeling before. Like this just feels good. Like it feels super good, and the relationship's just grown for that. And I've been married for 2 weeks. so it's came down to this. But all I can say is, marriage is a hard thing to do, and I'm learning that, just within 2 weeks, it definitely requires work, but the work that you put in, man, you'll enjoy it. You'll definitely enjoy it, and just finding someone that you can build with. And I've never had nobody love me like Lydia has, like ever, other than my mom. It's like one, like nobody overtops your mom, but like,
but it's a different type.
But it's a different type of love. Like it's like 1A and 1B, like to where it's like I've never had no one care for me, or like, if I'm down in the worst possible situation where it's gonna be like, hey, look at this ray of sunshine right here. Like everything's not as bad as it seems. Like, they encourage you. They, like I have like 1,000,001 dreams and schemes and concepts, and she'll tell me like, hey, like, you need to get off your ass and like do, like you say you want to do that. That's a great idea. Do it. Like, don't sit here and tell me and have all these conversations and me and you talk back and forth. Like, you need somebody in your corner that's gonna push you to your greatness. Like when you're on your worst day, you can rely on them to, give you some wisdom, or just just say those 2 or 3 words that can just calm you down in your just the worst situation possible. So I appreciate her, and I look forward to, the journey that we're on right now, and having kids, and, growing together, and, trying to like build businesses and just everything, man. I'm excited about it. So if anybody out there is thinking about getting married, just make sure that person's the one for you. Make sure that, y'all have the right energy, the right vibe, and, you can't really think about, others in your situation. You just kind of got to just go with what you know and do that.
Feels like every day's a holiday when I'm with you. And every day I'm thanking God for waking up to you. You're the light in my stars that be shining so. You're the beat off in my trunk that make my system sound. It's a pleasure to keep you, pleasure to treat you, pleasure to let you know I adore you with all my soul. I'm testifying, yeah, 'cause I'm a believer. I'm a believer. Best part of the day, my baby, it's you, my baby. I'm absolutely sure. Best part of the day, my baby, yeah, you, my baby. You complete my world. Now what would I do? What would I? Question. Tell me what would I do if I didn't have you? If I didn't have, if I didn't have you. Lonely when it's 30 minutes left at work, I start to count down. It's like I found a peace of mind the second that I touch down. Got a lot of homies, but my home is here with you. Got a lot of love.
All right, so, I mean, me being from Louisville and everything, it's like December 2008. Like, I've come back to town. I've got my bachelor's degree in history, master's in U of L in teaching. I've started, in my profession, doing everything. Mm-hmm. And that changes things. Like, growing up in Louisville, it's like, your friends, your family. Right. There's always something to do, and schedules get set. So when you start to hit it's not even a 9 to 5, it's like a 5 to 3. It throws the whole schedule way off.
Right.
So when you're trying to find a female and settle down and do everything you're doing, teacher lifestyle doesn't really work for what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So you've really got two options. You're either looking for a hookup or you're going to find someone in the building.
Yeah.
Finding someone in the building is kind of risky because then you run into, if it doesn't work, it all falls apart. Now you got relationships shattered, people worried about your business, yada, yada, yada. It's just too much. So I tried to play it cool for a couple of years. And then I hit an issue. I had some surgery. It was kind of major, so I'm off work for a few weeks. Mm-hmm. I get a call from the principal, like, bro, you got to come back to work. Like, you're out of sick days. People are done donating, whatever. So I come back, and I'm going through it. It's like maybe 3 days before Christmas break. So it's like, if I can get through these 3 days, I'm going to be all good. Mm-hmm. And I'm struggling, like, because if you're a teacher, like, you don't even need a Fitbit for them 10,000 steps. Like, it's going to come. Like, it's automatic. Like,
yeah.
You can't, if you're going to do it the right way, you've got to be up and moving. And so with the surgery and everything, like, it was a grind. So I go to the lounge, and the lounge is like teacher sanctuary. And I'm taking my little pills or whatever, prescribed, medicated.
Right, for the record.
And I'm trying to get ready for the second half of the day. And this older teacher comes in, and she's asking how I'm feeling and everything, whoop-de-whoop. And I'm talking to her about it, not trying to get too specific. And I see this woman in the corner of my eye, and, it's a teacher. It's a lounge. The subs. You know who's coming in. I don't know her, but I know she's fine. And I'm like, dude, I'm in no condition to see anybody that's fine and try to, matriculate anything towards that. So I'm trying to have this conversation with this old lady. And because she's fine and a sweetheart, she comes on over and she's like, are you okay? Because she's heard whoop-de-whoop, surgery and some of these catchwords.
Right.
Man, I don't know if it was the pill. I don't know if it was the anxiousness of knowing who she was getting ready to be. Because you know how things are right when you feel them.
Oh, yeah.
But everything hit me inside, and it was all bad. She says that after she said, are you okay? I looked at her all crazy and said, I don't even know you. I say when I looked at her, I was like, you don't know me. Like, and in my mind, it sounds way more compassionate and sweet. No, it's a wrap.
Right.
This is not how the story goes. I'm going her side. Again, everything was different.
Right.
Anyway, right. So we flash forward, and this is teacher lounge. So she ends up getting hired on as one of those like mid-hire teachers. So she gets hired on in December. Christmas break hits, come back, healed up, everything's fresh and smooth, and now she's in the building. And I've already like, in my mind, strike one, but ain't gonna be no strike two, and certainly no strike three. Like I saw her, and I saw a 60-year-old us together. Like it was,
man.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's weird how you feel what you feel.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I heard you telling your story. Like, the feelings, whether they come immediately or whether they come like 6 months down the line, once that feeling catches you, it's usher caught up.
Right,
you know?
right. You don't realize it fully at the moment, but yeah.
You can't, because there's no way to articulate how much that feeling means as you move forward.
Right.
Anyway, so math teacher, I teach social studies. So I see her in the lounge. We share lunch. She's fresh out of college. You know, she got hired December, and she's eating still like a college student at lunch. So it's like ramen noodles, like popcorn and a Dr. Pepper, like silly stuff. And I'm sitting here like, I like to cook. I worked through restaurants, through college. Like, this is my thing. So it's, at a certain point, I start making 2 servings and, you know, bringing the extra Tupperware. You know what I'm saying? And I had 6-period planning. So if I was, you know, not on that grind, run to Dairy Queen and get her a Blizzard and, a burger, like whatever. But all those little subtle things that was like, because like I said, you can't come at a teacher strong.
Right.
Because if it falls apart, you've done some real damage in the building. And that's like, even you're in high school teaching high schoolers, but it's high school. You know what I mean? So like with the teachers, you can't do that. Right. So anyway, so I played this slow, I played steady, I do all that stuff. And eventually it's like 3 months later. And like, I'm sure every teacher in the building has told her, man, he's feeling you.
Right. Like, come on.
I don't know what he's doing, but he's feeling you. So regardless, you know, I finally come strong. And it's like, it immediately, it's just a jump off. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those moments like, I don't need to worry about nothing else. I don't need to stress about any of the others. It was immediate, like, this is what's good. Mm-hmm. And so you go through all that, you fast forward, because I'm not going to go through specifics, you know. Right. And you get to that point where it's like, I'm 5 years into this, and I don't want to fight with nobody else. Right. Like, that's how you kind of consolidate the argument in your head after you've, like, gone to the basement, you know, all mad and shut. Like, I don't want to do this with nobody else. I'd rather go up and make up with her than anybody else. Like, right. Those feelings, those emotions, those sentiments. Like, anyway, as I'm writing my notes for this little, you know, blurb, I'm listening to The Black Guy Who Tips, shout out. Right. And they're talking about that Bernie Sanders guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and how he spit on old girl. Yeah. And his husband was right there, and how he ain't do nothing about it. Come on now. Everybody maybe on this podcast.
You're catching all types of hands.
Word is bond. I don't care. I don't care if you a lawyer or you serving at the 7-Eleven money. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. The jump off's gonna be real.
Absolutely.
Because that's the feeling I'm trying to, you know, express.
Right. Because that's me. Right.
You're gonna give me, like, this is how all in I'm getting ready to be. Right. And that's, you know, that's what that first time means. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, son gets born 2013 in March. Man. Like, hometown, U of L's getting ready to play for the championship. Like, everything is like, it's weird how that all played out. My wife is not from here, but she has come all in with me on that U of L stuff because that's what I'm doing.
That's a good one.
So, like, for him to be born in March, us to win a championship in April, and me to then be able to look back on that original moment when I first met her and be like, dang, I felt like I was at the lowest of the lows, like, could hardly walk, like, couldn't see my people. You know, like, everything was just going bad in that moment. To then be at that apex, it's like, man, ain't no way I gotta worry about nothing if you really think about it. Once you find the one, all y'all gotta do is navigate the path together, and everything works out. And you know, that's my how I met your mother story, so to speak.
Look at
me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. I can't understand. I get misty holding your hand. Yes, I do. Walk my way, and a thousand violins begin to play. Maybe the sound of your hello, the music I hear. Hey, you know I get misty whenever you're here. Yeah. You can say that you're leading me on, Lordy, but it's just what I want.